team news, any changes?
No, all positive. Lucas has come through, obviously 90 minutes for France, which is a big positive from the last time we had a squad to pick. We're at full health. Nakamba will play for the reserves tonight. He'll play somewhere in between 45 and 60 minutes, which again is a big positive. Hopefully he can be back and have a full week into Tottenham and maybe be available for there. It's a little bit too soon for him now because he hasn't had no real serious game time. So we'll give him a run out tonight. Hopefully he comes through that, recovers well, and then he'll be back with the group. But he has been back training fully now for probably 10-12 days, and he's come through fine. He's smiling, and he's getting closer and closer each day. But the rest's all healthy, in a good place, ready to go.
Now next season you'll be able to use 5 substitutes. I just wondered your thoughts on that. Are you pleased with that?
Yes, certainly from an Aston Villa point of view, it's something that we voted for. It's something that we had the luxury of using throughout COVID. When I was up at Rangers, as a manager, you want to be able to use as much of your talent as possible. We've got a big squad here. We're a club that wants to have pathways for our youngsters. There's a lot of emerging talent. It is frustrating at the moment when you've got a lot of talent behind you that you're not able to call upon because of the rules as they are. There is pros and cons, of course there is, but we're certainly a club who has backed this, and we're looking forward to being able to use it.
A couple of disappointing results before the break. You're now facing your closest neighbours right now in the Premier League, and also the team closest to you in the table. What will you be demanding from your players going into that game against Wolves?
Just a reaction and a better level of performance over the 90 minutes, really. I think Wolves have done terrific this season. They're well coached, you can see that. They're very well organised. They're always within games. Quite a stuffy opponent, and I say that with all the compliments. They've got big talent throughout the squad, but as you say, they're above us in the league. We've got a game in hand and an opportunity tomorrow to try and claw some points back, so it's a big game for us. It's always a game with a rivalry if it's in the Midlands, and it's a game that's very interesting for both sides. Obviously they've got a couple missing as well, so I'm really looking forward to the kick.
It's also a huge game for one of your former sides. I just wondered your memories of those old firm derbies whilst you were at Rangers.
A bit of a curveball, that, wasn't it? Right in there. Listen, I'll watch the game on Sunday, hopefully in a good mood and in a good place from a positive result. Villa's obviously my priority now, but it's a mouth-watering game. Obviously Celtic got the better recently. And Tommy smiles away there, who's a Celtic fan. But no, I think it's a real 50-50 game. Two really good teams. Celtic obviously in a good place, haven't qualified. And knocking Dortmund and Red Star out. And Celtic have obviously been very consistent for some time now and are coached extremely well. So, I think quite clear who I want to win. I think that goes without saying, but it'll be very different sitting at home, hopefully in a good place to enjoy the game, because when you're in the mix, it's obviously a fantastic game to be involved in. The atmosphere is sensational, especially at Ibrox, and I'm hoping for the Rangers win.
No more curveballs from me, just say all the best.
Thank you. One's enough.
Stephen, you okay?
Oh, yeah, very well. You?
Yes, not too bad. Stephen, how positive and pleasing is it for you as a manager and the club as a whole to have so many players on international duty and doing well on international duty during this last break?
Yeah, we've said it before and we'll say it again. We're very proud to see our players get called up and get selected for the national teams, and obviously very proud when they go away and represent the club in a real good way. We have the majority coming back in a good place. There's only, unfortunately, one, Robin Olsen, who has took a couple of days for us to get him back where we need him. He's obviously disappointed from his side, but he actually played extremely well in both games. We had both games watched and covered. Everyone else has gone away and been part of either wins, scoring goals, getting assists, qualification. The atmosphere since the boys have returned, obviously them coming back healthy is a huge bonus first and foremost, but to get them back in a good place and the level of training since has been full of confidence and full of quality, so hopefully we can take that into tomorrow's game.
Looking at that game, is it a good time to be going to Wolves? They're in a little bit of a dip. Jimenez not available through suspension, maybe Neves is injured as well. Is it a good time to be going there and playing them, do you think?
Well, look, they're two big players for Wolves, and they've been big players for a long time. And obviously, them players make Wolves a lot stronger. So that side of your question, yes, but there's no one here on the Villa side thinking this is going to be an easy game. We know it's going to be a tough challenge. Wolves are above us in the league for a reason. They've obviously been more consistent over the league campaign so far. I said earlier, they're well coached. You can see that in terms of how they set up. We've covered them a lot over the last couple of weeks, having the time on international break. So we know this will be extremely tough. They've got good players to come in because they've built a real impressive squad full of quality. And the outcome of this game, for us, we will have to be at our best for sure.
Here's my curveball. Did you enjoy the penalty and the little run around the last week?
I enjoyed the 90 minutes, I enjoyed scoring, and I didn't enjoy the 3, 4, 5 days after because I was in absolute agony.
Brilliant.
And I'm just recovering just now.
Thank you. Stephen, as a player, I think you only lost 2 derbies in your career or thereabouts, some low number. But as a manager or coach, are you a lover of derby games?
Yes, I think they make leagues more interesting, they make cities more interesting. So for me, there's many special derbies all over the world. We've just spoke about a special derby at the weekend, one of the biggest, Celtic and Rangers. There's many derbies in the Midlands, obviously, with a few teams not in the league and at Premiership level. This is a huge derby for us. Wolves and Leicester are obviously 2 big games. They're both coming up on the horizon. Wolves, obviously the priority at the moment. So we want games to have that extra buzz, that special edge. And it obviously means an awful lot to the supporters. So we want to go and put in a performance to really represent our support in the right way.
It's going to be a great occasion. They always are derbies, as you say. Could that be a problem for coaches and managers where players get caught up in the occasion rather than the game?
Well, look, football's football. Things happen on the pitch. Of course, as a manager of my own team, that's my priority, and we ask our players to go in with the right mentality. To be brave and be aggressive, but also to make sure that we don't cross any lines and we do it in the right way. And I think that's the reason why derby games are extra special, because you've got two teams full throttle right at it, and I don't expect anything different tomorrow.
Just finally from me, players on international duty, you've had quite a few. Does that affect your team selection, or will it?
No, and yes. So I'm not sure that's the answer you wanted. We've had Leon Bailey return today. He landed at 7 o'clock this morning. He's travelled an awful long way. So, for example, obviously his minutes and game time would definitely come under consideration. But at the end of the day, the priority is everyone comes back healthy and ready and available to play. We've got everyone available for selection. Some people have travelled more than most. Some people have played more than others. But at the end of the day, there'll be enough recovery time, enough preparation time for us to put what I feel is the best team available to beat Wolves on the day, and that's what I'll do.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, how are you?
All right, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
I was looking. I think you're the only team in all 4 divisions yet to draw an away game this season. So you've won 6 and you've lost 9. So does that suggest a little bit that they need to learn just how to grind out results? Perhaps a little bit more, changing mentality, but it's not quite going your way, to be able to dig in a little bit more away from home.
Well, I hope there's not another draw tomorrow. I hope we're talking about an Aston Villa win. Draws are not really of a big interest, of course. I'd rather us take a point than none. I think that goes without saying. But we're a team that wants to go everywhere and try and win games. We want to be positive and bold. So the message will be clear tomorrow. We're going to try and get the win that we want and that we need. But yeah, I think picking the bones out of it and analysing the group, there has been times away from home when we haven't won where maybe us being a little bit gritty and having a little bit more experience about us, we could take at least a point away. That was the case also in the last game, I believe. I thought the way we played the second half was a big improvement on the first. And if we would have been a little bit more clinical or a little bit more creative in the final third, we might have took a point out of that game, because I thought we finished it quite strong.
Now, tomorrow is going to be your 19th Premier League game as Villa manager, so it's basically half a season. So, do you feel like you've made progress during that time, maybe like 3 or 4 months?
Well, the stats tell me we'd be 8th in the league going off them 19 games. That's okay. That's okay. That's a position that shows that there's been progress, but it also shows that there's work to do. There's improvements in areas that we can both push and guide moving forward, and I think the 19 games have been really interesting. Certainly, from my point of view, I've learned an awful lot about the players individually and collectively, but we very much know where we are. We've made progress, we've done okay, but there's still room to improve and get better. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, and talking about, and finally, the players and all of them at the moment, are they on trial a little bit? With you know where you want to go, you've made progress already. Clearly in the summer you want to push on, so next season you can go even higher. So are the players, to a degree, playing to be part of that now?
Well, I think you've just answered the question. We want the players to help move the club forward. We want them to be obsessed with getting better individually. We want them to contribute individually and collectively to keep moving the club forward. But I don't want to give you a headline to say Steven Gerrard says every one of his players are on trial, because I know that's what you want and I won't give you that. But you've answered the message, you've answered the question yourself by saying everyone needs to be obsessed with trying to make this club and move this club forward, because that's the way we are and that's the way we want to be. Thank you.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Just one really from me. Obviously, with so many players away on international duty, what has been your main focus during this period at Bodymore?
Analysing where everyone is and how they're playing, making sure we keep an eye on all our international players. I think that's a priority. We've had a real small training group whilst they've been away, so it's important that they've had individual programmes, but also there's been staff available and we've put sessions on to make sure that they tick over. So when we all came together yesterday as one group, the transition's smooth as it can. The preparation time is very small going into this game, so we've had to put a lot of information into the players in the last 24, 48 hours, and again, it's important that they do the right things from now till kick-off, because it is a challenging time as a manager and as staff, because we probably had 85% of our squad away on internationals and a very small number here, so it was important yesterday's session and today's session that we got some game plan information over to them.
And are you able to look at other things in a wider perspective beyond the coaching side of it, in terms of your forward planning, as it were, at a time like that?
100%, yes.
Thank you very much.
Right, whatever you want around that.
Oh no, I was.
I think I know what you're alluding to. Have there been recruitment meetings? Has there been dialogue here, there and everywhere? The answer is yes.
That wasn't really what I was asking, but I was just really trying to get into sort of, what you can achieve when you don't.
Well, I think we need to use the time in the best possible way. I think you're at a stage of the season where you're not going to improve the fitness levels of the individual or the group that much. Everyone's in peak condition when it comes to March. We're coming out of a COVID situation, so it was an opportunity early on in the international break to give people some time to see the family and get away from it and freshen up from a mental point of view. We've used this time on the training pitch to, let individuals, get individual work. We've worked on units, we've worked on the collective as best we can with the small numbers we've got, and then use the last 2 days to really focus on the Wolves and the Wolves game plan. In and around the training, obviously, it gives us time and opportunity as a staff to analyse where we are as a group, where we want to get to, and the things, we've been planning stuff for pre-season, we've had recruitment meetings and everything you can put in place behind the scenes to try and use the time as well as we can.
Just want to pick up on a point you made just recently about being obsessed, and I've heard you speak before about when you were a player coming into training and being obsessed with being the best. Is that something that you see from some of your own players?
Yes, I do. Do you want me to give you an example?
Yeah.
Jacob Ramsey is someone, since we've come in the door, I see an obsession from him to come in here every day and improve and try and reach a standard and a level, and is searching to become an elite footballer. But there's many, I can go on and go through them all. I'm not sure we've got the time, but there's many players here that we love, the standard, we love their attitude, their application, and the drive to be better, and you can get a feel of who's really with you as a manager, who's all in and who fancies this journey. Of course, they're the stuff that you're analysing on a daily basis.
And how does that sort of manifest itself? Is it players staying after training to practice their skills?
Well, I think it's a combination of everything. You know, who utilises the facilities here, who uses the time best, who makes sure that they're always trying to improve every little small detail of the game, whether that be from a physical, mental, whether it be from, you know, who leaves no stone unturned basically in terms of the preparation to be the best they can be on the weekend. That's all you can ask of a manager, and that's what you want to see. People who want to go above and beyond to make sure that their contribution's valuable to the team.
And just in terms of derbies, people often associate younger players with fearlessness and older players with, you know, cool heads. In terms of the derbies that you've been involved in, what kind of a balance do you think is needed?
It's probably the right question to the right person. I think I've experienced many derbies where I've got the balance right, where I've gone right to the edge and really took it where you can't take it anymore and got it bang on in terms of my own performance, in terms of the outcome of the game. But at times, sometimes you can, you know, go above the line and get it wrong, and I've certainly experienced that. So the message to the players is, yes, we want as many as we can, winning the duels and taking it to the edge, but it's important that we play with calmness. It's important that we play with discipline, because, you know, keeping the right number of people on the pitch is going to make the job a lot more better for us, for sure.